These have got to be the most impressive action figures I've seen for under $20 ever. Like, ever. Let's open them up, check them out, and of course do some toy photography. So there's actually quite a few reasons why I think these figures are awesome, and I'm quite excited to make this video. Number one is Sonic 3 comes out in like a little less than a month, and these figures are already here, and they've been on the shelves for at least a month now. And how cool is that? A movie isn't even out yet, and the figures are already available. So I had a huge rant about that in this video. Why is that not a thing anymore? Why does a movie come out and then like 5 months later the toys for that movie come out? But I'm just so glad to see, like, hey, if I want to go get the figures for this movie coming out, I can go grab them and hype myself up for this movie. I love that. I love that so much. Number two, I'm so impressed with the property of Sonic itself. It has endured, I feel like, so much, and it's such a popular, wildly popular franchise right now. If I had $1 for every comment I had that said, make a video on the new Sonic figures, I'd be rich. So I'm just so impressed with how Sonic is just staying strong with the movies, and there's a new game that's out apparently that looks pretty cool. I haven't played a Sonic game in years. I don't know, let me know, should I play that? People who have played that new Sonic game, let me know. I also love the fact that these figures are 16 stinking dollars. How cool is that? So Jakks Pacific, Sonic, however you guys made it work, you made some pretty good looking figures. You put them out before the movie came out, and they're only 16 bucks. All the other companies, take notes, please, because this is awesome. So please be a little patient with me, because I'm not really the biggest Sonic guy. I do love the movies, I think they're really great. The only real game experience I have playing Sonic is like at my friend's house next door back in the day on the Sega Genesis, and that's it. And in the last Sonic video I made, definitely said a few things here and there that didn't really make people very happy. And same with the little green diamond thingy. Little green diamond thingy. And I swear that's not because I don't love Sonic, I'm just a little ignorant, I apologize. But, so just be a little kind in the comments. I'm gonna do my best. I think I'm gonna do just fine though. There's not a lot of obscure things in this box that's gonna make me look like an idiot or something like before. So these figures should be pretty readily available in store right now. I found both of these guys at Target. I had to do a few different trips to find each of them. Shadow was the hardest one to find. Sonic was a little bit too, but you can find them at GameStop, Walmart, Target, and you can get these in like the individual blisters like this. There's like a Shadow on a motorcycle. There's a 4-pack, I think, with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and Shadow, and everybody. And I'm pretty sure there's a new Super Sonic out there too, which I kind of want to pick up too. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know if I should grab the other figures and do a video on those too, especially Super Sonic. So check all your stores for these guys, but I'll also, of course, have as many links in the video description to pick these guys up if you want to pick them up there as well. I promise. So to be completely honest, one of the reasons why I love the Sonic movies so much is because of Jim Carrey. And I'm so incredibly happy that he's back for the third one, even though he said he was retiring after the second one. Not really sure what is going on there, but I'm just glad he's back. Jim Carrey has always been my number one. Like, Liar Liar is still, I think to this day, the greatest comedy of all time. That movie is timeless. Oh, man, honestly, I might go watch that now tonight. It's just so funny. Okay, so yeah, these are definitely $16 figures, and that's not just because, whoa, Jakks is really nice and they gave us a cheap price. They're definitely designed to be sold at a lower price, which is smart because lower price, you sell more, but at the same time, what they're still able to do with these figures and still have them be at this price is pretty impressive, because you've got tons of joints all over the place. You got like finger joints, and you got butterfly joints in the chest. That is crazy. I think pretty naturally you're gonna deal with stuff like that. These guys are just naturally top heavy. They got real big heads. You know, they got big heads. And so you're gonna get stuff like, you know, I'm not gonna get frustrated about that because I did pay 16 bucks. But at the same time, I wonder why they couldn't make these heads a little bit more hollow so they weren't so top heavy. All the weight is up there on their head. They must just have real thick, dense brains. And I'm sure at times that will cause difficulty with posing and stuff because they're gonna fall over. And Shadow's definitely got a little bit of a bigger head than Sonic does. Sonic's got a pretty big old noggin also, but Shadow's bigger, spikier locks. But they've also got great big feet too, which is very helpful. I think you're still able to do okay with posing. You know, sometimes you're gonna be, you know, trying to pose him and he's just gonna be like, all right. All right. But the big feet do help, and they have quite a bit of articulation in the ankle. It's a huge necessity. If it didn't have that, then I'd be pretty frustrated. See, come on, Sonic. I don't want to lean you too far forward. All right, there we go. So just be mindful, I suppose, of that. One thing I think is really an interesting choice that they've made, and I've seen this with a lot of other Jakks figures too, is they've got an interesting way they do the eyes. Like they put a clear plastic over the eyes, and then like the paint for the iris and pupils and his eyeballs are underneath the clear plastic. So it gives a little bit of depth to the eyes, and you can, it's weird. I don't know if I like that choice. I feel like I would have much rather just preferred just white and then putting the paint right on the tips of the eyes. It is weird because like looking at their eyes right now, the light just in video and camera, the light doesn't really hit the inside quite the same way. I have to kind of like change the lighting to make sure their eyes are lit because their pupils are underneath the clear plastic. I don't know, what do you think? Do you like the eyes like that or no? Well, I haven't seen any other brand of figures do that, just Jakks. The paint and stuff is pretty simple, but it does the job. It's great. You know, it's kind of just like a blue plastic with a little bit of paint here and there. So there honestly isn't a whole lot of paint. I'm sure also is a great way to keep the price down at that $16 point. And there is just like a nice little bit of texture all over the place. Sonic actually has these little clear plastic lines on the back, which are kind of neat. I mean, at first glance, they're really cool and they're like legitimate figures. Yeah, they're not quite at the same quality as like a Marvel Legends. They're legit figures, even though they're only 16 bucks, they're legit figures. So for articulation, there is an impressive amount of movement and joints all over this thing. There's so much. So let's just start from head to toe here. Right on the bottom, we've got an ankle joint that moves. There's a little bit of wear and tear already on that ankle, but that's all right. So you can move those ankles around just as much, I think, as you need to, and that's very helpful, especially with such a top-heavy figure. We've got a normal knee joint, which goes up about that far, and we've got a little swivelly twist right here too, as well as being able to just, you can have them do a full-on split, so that's cool. Have a little bit of movement in the torso area, so that's cool. You can't go back and forth much, but you can twist. And so, okay, the arms are, there's a lot in the arms. Okay, so let's see. In the hand, let's start with the hand. And you've got actual movement there, so if you would like him to hold something, you can. Or you can have him have fists, you know, if he's punching or running, or if you want more conversational talking poses, that's cool. That's, because that really is make or break in a certain pose, you know? Looks like you can move the elbows even more than his head will allow it, so that's pretty awesome. Cross his arms like a tough guy. And so he's got a shoulder joint too, which you can move all the way up. The fact that he's got little butterfly joints in there, do you see that? And so butterfly joints are basically just another little joint in the chest area that makes it so you can kind of move arms kind of like a wing. You can have him saying, "What's up?" with his chest forward like this, or going forward. Like that's crazy. I'm so impressed with that. And so, and you can move the head around too, not a crazy amount, but you can still do that. Let's try to get him in a pose where he's running on one foot. See if he can balance like that. Boom, look at that. First try within like less than 10 seconds. Can't really move his head up at all, but he can still do it. And the fact that he can do that with such a heavy head. Shadow though, let's see if he's any better with that big ol' noggin of his. So Shadow looks like he has all the same stuff. Honestly, I think he has the same exact body as Sonic. So the only real difference as far as body with him, obviously the shoes and the wrist pads. And then he's got a nice little chest hair thing there, which looks like a secondary piece. Everything's exactly the same except for feet, arms, head. And then they put his chest hair on there. So as far as the articulation goes, it's exactly the same. Even the tail too is the same, right? But can I put him in that same pose as I did with Sonic? Let's do a Naruto pose. Totally, actually that looks really good. I'm not gonna lie, actually. I think that pose looks pretty great. Do wish I could move his head up a little bit. All right, I actually moved his chest up a little bit and that worked. That's impressive, look at that. That's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of badass. Go Jax, this is awesome. They aren't the tallest figures at all, but they are a little bit bigger than I thought they would be. They're about 5 inches. That's like exactly 5-inch figure. They really are bigger than I was expecting. Like if you were to compare it to this figure right here, which is another Jax figure from a while back, maybe like 2020 or something. I bought this for like a photo shoot I wanted to do with like the G Fuel Sonic can. This is like a $12 figure. And also, by the way, this figure is like total crap compared to this. And I mean, this is a few more bucks more expensive than this guy was, I think. But still, it's crazy how much night and day this figure is better than this one. Seems like they've come a long way in a short amount of time. Yeah, he's a bit shorter and smaller, so I was expecting around this size. Here he is just quickly compared to like a Marvel Legends, which is, you know, obviously a very different figure, but, you know, still something you find on the shelf in Target, so it's kind of worth at least comparing. And then this here is the Nendoroid, which I really love this figure. I did a whole video on him, by the way. Let's get them all in frame. Come on, guys. So the Nendoroid right here, much more expensive, by the way, maybe triple or quadruple more expensive than these guys, but really a cool figure. Definitely a bit shorter than these guys too, by the way. Bunch of cool Sonics. So what are we giving these guys? A W or an L? Well, I think it's a pretty clear W. First of all, they're $16 figures, which is significantly lower than the usual like figure I would want to buy to take photos with. This is a figure I think is still quality enough for me to take a photo and feel good about it. That's just me. But it's still 16 bucks, which is crazy. Still not quite at the quality of something like a Marvel Legends, but still on the same shelves and Target, you know? All of the things they're able to do under that $16 price range is very expensive. The articulation, all the joints, those butterfly joints, that's crazy. I think these guys are really cool, so they get an easy W for me. Let me know in the comments if you think it's a W or an L, please. I would love to know, even though I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a W. All right, well, it's a shooting and reviewing video, which means we have to take a cool toy photo with these guys, and I know exactly what I wanna do. If you see the poster for this movie, it looks really cool. It's a great poster, but this poster just screams light painting to me with those red and blue streaks that are following them. I'm absolutely gonna do something like that. Maybe not making the 3, but definitely some light painting. So this will be a lot of fun. Let's let's wait till it's nighttime and take the shot. Okay, so here we are. We've got a little setup going on here. Pay no attention to the polar seltzer can right there, but we've got Sonic and Shadow, and they're both in like a running kind of pose. Shadow is very seriously running, while Sonic is kind of just in a little bit of a cocky, shrugging, running pose while he's ahead in the race right now. So that's kind of what's going on here. And so I'm going to be taking some very long exposure shots here with this LED thing, and it's called light painting. I have a couple tutorials where I talk about this in great detail. I'll have it linked in the description if you want to try it. It's really, really easy to do to make a really cool practical effect, and it's perfect for Sonic. So perfect for Sonic. So I've got these little LED Christmas lights, fairy lights, whatever you want to call them. And I've got them in this little doohickey that I made out of a straw. So I have like a little wand, basically. So basically, if I take a photo while I'm moving this around Sonic, while he's running around, the camera's moving so slow because of the long exposure that it's capturing all of the movement with my little wand. And then we get a cool speedster-like effect going on. So my shutter speed is at 2 seconds right now, so it takes 2 whole seconds for my camera to take a picture. Ready? 1, 2. Took all that time to take the picture. So if I move this around while it's taking the photo, it captures all of that stuff going on. So watch. Here we go. Look at that. It captured all of that. So if you want any more detail on how I do that, make sure to check out this video, but that's really it. It's very, very simple. My shutter speed is at 2 seconds right now. My f-stop is at 2.5, just because if I can not get any of that stuff in the background, that would be fantastic. And my ISO is at 50 right now. It's the lowest it can go. I really just want 0 light from other sources getting in my photo. I just want my little fairy lights going on. Another really important tip about using light painting or anything like that is make sure to either use a remote of some sort or use a timer, because if you're touching your camera like this, taking the photo, your camera's gonna move and totally screw up the photo. You don't wanna get a blurry photo. So this little thing here changes all different colors. So I'm gonna do some blues, some reds, some whites, and that's really gonna be it. And I'm gonna put them all together in Photoshop like I do with everything else, and hopefully get a cool Sonic and Shadow photo. This is great for the flash. Tons of different possibilities to use this for. It's gonna be great. Being around $16 or so, these figures are incredibly impressive. They can do so much and they look great. Even in the photo, they look really great. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. This photo, as always, will be posted on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. If you want to follow my work on any of those platforms as well, it's all linked in the description of the video, just like everything else. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.